After Bengaluru, a shameless case of molestation has come to light from Delhi's Mukherjee Nagar area.
पहले मैंने उनको पहले भी समझाया था भाई तुम थोड़ा शांति प्रिय तरीके से करना। बाइक पर एक लड़का और लड़की आते हैं, उन्होंने लड़की को अपनी तरफ प्रेस करने की, पीछे की तरफ खींचने की सोची। उसके बाद 4-4 5-5 का ग्रुप आता है, फिर 2-4 पत्थर आते हैं, उन्होंने पत्थरबाजी किया जिसमें हमारे कई स्टाफ को चोट भी आई है।
Police is yet to take any action. Even the miscreants have not been nabbed so far. No arrest has been made.
सेफ नहीं है, बिल्कुल भी किसी तरह से भी नहीं है सेफ।
एटमॉस्फेयर खराब है यहाँ का सारा। पीजी करने से स्टूडेंट अंदर जो मर्जी करे, कोई किसी की वो नहीं है।
लोकल लोग ज़्यादातर यहाँ पे आके उपद्रव करते हैं और उन्हीं की वजह से पूरे जो भी स्टूडेंट्स लोग हैं, हम लोग जैसे लोग भी इसमें बदनाम होते हैं। कुछ लड़कों की वजह से सारे लड़के बदनाम होते हैं, जैसे कि सब जानते हैं, लेकिन इससे फ़र्क तो पड़ता है। देखो
कुछ ही लड़के हैं जो मतलब इस तरीके की हरकतें करते हैं, यहाँ पे माहौल ख़राब कर रहे हैं।
Well, after days of discussing what happened in Bangalore this evening, viewers, we have an instance that's come up in Delhi. And I'm sorry I have to bring you another bad story. I know you're exhausted talking about it. I'm exhausted talking about it. We keep bringing up the situation that we have in our country right now, where women are just not safe, where molestation is just not considered a crime. And worse still, in Delhi, the police who attempted to intervene were beaten up by these assaulters and molesters. Is there a complete breakdown of law and order in our country? Is the police not to be respected at all? Where are we going wrong? And how do we create cities and spaces that are more inclusive, where women and children can feel safe, where women and children can go out at night without constantly having to worry about instances like what you're seeing on your screen right now? That's the question we're asking tonight, in a very sober discussion on how we can progress and move forward, how we can acknowledge as a country that we actually do have a very, very serious problem, and where the solutions are to this problem. Joining me on the show this evening, Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Abha Singh, lawyer and activist, Yogita Bayana is a social activist, and Trisha Shetty is a lawyer and the founder of She Says, the NGO. I want to start with Abha Singh. Abha Singh, unfortunately, we're having these conversations under these circumstances again. What are we doing wrong, Abha?
There is no fear of law. As we were doing this yesterday with you itself, I said that criminal jurisprudence means deterrence. There is no deterrence. Nothing is stopping maybe the antisocial elements or the criminals from committing a crime. And the result we see that in Mukherjee Nagar, where the cops tried to protect a woman from being molested, they themselves are being beaten up by the goons. There is an offence of 353 IPC, which means attacking a public servant or stopping him from performing his duty. There is a provision of 2 years imprisonment. But how many people have been arrested for beating up a public servant? How many places action has been taken? Because no action is taken, because there is no conviction, in molestation cases, the conviction rate is not only 20%. That means 80% of the molesters go scot-free. Even in this case, I am sure bail would be given the very same day. You get the best of the lawyers, you defeat the whole criminal system. The justice is in shambles, and that is the reason that what you say when you say where are we going, we are going nowhere. Our girls are not safe on the roads, be it Bengaluru, be it Hyderabad or Delhi. It is a sad scene, and till the time some drastic measures are taken, the politicians stop making cheap comments about women, stop linking crime with clothes and Western culture. All these things in a holistic approach is the only way we can make the country safe for women and girls.
You know, I want to bring up, and Abha made a very, very pertinent point. What sort of convictions do we have in the cases of sexual molestation? Karnataka, only 1 in every 100 cases that are filed, and we're not even counting the cases that are not filed, where women just go home and just live it down. We're talking about the ones that are filed. 1 in 100 cases ends in conviction. In 2015, there were 5,112 cases registered, out of which only 69 cases out of 5,000 ended in conviction. The all-India number, 82,422 cases of sexual assault were registered. of which less than 10% ended up in final conviction. And even the conviction in cases of sexual assault is not strong enough. I want to bring in Anila Singh. Anila, what's happening within the corridors of government right now? Is there any talk in strengthening the laws against those who perpetrate crime against women? Is there anything happening? And I'm actually asking you as purely as a citizen right now, is there any conversation in the corridors of power actually about women and what's going on right now?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sayed. Yesterday also when I was on your panel and this discussion was on, so as a citizen, as a woman, I am really worried what is happening in this country. But if you ask me as a spokesperson of Bharatiya Janata Party, I can definitely say that Pradhan Mantri, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he too is worried about the condition and the situation in which women live in. So, you know, I do not want to go there because even you know that there are many schemes, everything is there. But coming back to the point that whatever is happening either in Karnataka or in Delhi or in Uttar Pradesh, anywhere, it is happening pan-India.
It is happening pan-India. Anila, I just want to point out,
no, absence of morality,
while I take what you're saying, Anila, I take what you're saying, the truth is that nobody in the government, in the central government, has really come out and commented. We have not had a comment or a word of intent from the Women and Child Welfare Minister. We've not had a comment from the Home Minister. We've not had a comment from anybody. Nobody's acknowledged what's happening. Nobody's acknowledged, the increase in the number of rape cases that we've seen, that we've witnessed over the last couple of years. Nobody's acknowledged how the situation has worsened, and that is true. That there's no way to argue the fact that it has not been mentioned and it has not been acknowledged by government.
Any political party is not serious about women's safety. It's a joke for them.
Anila,
First of all, they are in denial mode.
Yogita, I'll come to you. I just want Anila to answer this question.
I have to reply, isn't it? I totally understand your sentiments. Not only you, every woman in the country, whenever such cases happen, they expect that anybody from the government or the administration, they are going to step forward and some strong actions will be taken against the perpetrators. But unfortunately, I will say that things matter from state to state. Some states are worst and some are little better. But none of the states in our country, they are doing well for the girls. They feel very unsafe. The states, I will not say all the states, but in the most of the states, girls feel very unsafe. As a parent, and even I am a parent of a girl, I live in Uttar Pradesh, in Noida, and I feel very, I can't send my daughter after sunset. But if you talk about the government, if you talk about the administration, of course, and of course the judicial system as well, you yourself has told about the conviction rate, and about 80% cases are not even registered. So this is the type of scenario in this country. Strong steps have to be taken, exemplary punishment has to be given, then only something can be said that yes, government or the administration of any of the state is working seriously on the issues of women's security.
Yogita, you wanted to respond to that, and let's also acknowledge the fact that while we haven't had enough comments from government instilling faith in women, we've had plenty of people who've stepped up to morally police us and actually blame victims. And that's always the case. Whenever there is a terrible, disheartening, depressing case that we hear about, there are plenty of people from various governments who stand up and make derogatory statements about women. And that actually makes things worse.
Before anybody else, one should put them behind the bars, because these are the politicians, bunch of jokers. If they can make such a statement being public representatives, they should go behind the bars first of all. And when they are vouching for Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, what about Beti Ki Izzat Bachao? First of all, they need to look into it, that they should declare it as an emergency situation. Like any other, like they have done demonetization overnight, they are doing other reforms. This should be the top most priority of any government, state government. They should come together and do something on the women's safety. I think they should first of all come out of the denial mode and stop taking advantage of the situation.
Law and order is a matter. Law and order goes with the state, not with the center.
See, again, it started, blame game starts, and if you had the willpower.
No, Yogita, actually, give me a concrete suggestion. What is your expectation from the government?
I'm not doing any blame game. I'm just telling you, like you gave an example of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. So I totally appreciate your feelings, but I need to tell you that it is the state matter, not the central matter. So that, like, you should have clarity about it.
We should stop playing the politics of state.
No, Yogita, tell me what your expectation is from the government. Let's actually put out some concrete suggestions, and then we'll know whether the government is making a move or not. Tell me what you expect.
Definitely. Yes, I expect these, first of all, actions should be taken against these politicians who make such remarks. First of all, they should be put to task, or they should be thrown out of their parties, respective parties. And secondly, sex education should be mandatory in the school colleges. That has to be done by the central government, isn't it, madam? So HRD ministry is under you, so you take some cognizance, do something about sex education, get it into the syllabus, and rather than gender
separation. Even this has to be done by both, by the center and the state both, madam.
There are schools, Kendriya Vidyalayas also. At least start with your schools, which are the authorities with you. You should start with that. I have personally I have met HRD minister, I have followed it up, but nobody wants to do anything. They only want to project development work. They really don't want to. Or the biggest example of gender separation in our country is the parliament, where the seating of the women are separate than men. I mean, what bigger examples we can give than our parliament also has segregated section for men and women. If we are separating two genders, what can we expect? I mean, if you are depriving these gender issues and not having gender sensitization within the parliament, I mean, we have a long way to go. So we need to start somewhere. We have to showcase from the government side. There are always two aspects to any kind of reforms, and women's safety, people and power. People, definitely they have to change their mindset. They have to raise their sons according to gender sensitization and do some kind of reforms within their houses. Mothers have to take charge, father has to take charge.
Okay, Yogita, let's take this one by one. Yogita, let's take this one by one. Yogita, one second, let's take this one by one. Trisha Shetty, I want to bring you in here. So here's the question really, from where we're standing at the crossroads, and we've all agreed that harsher punishment is necessary. But how do we create inclusive societies? Should our streets be better lit? Should we have more police actually patrolling the streets? Should we actually be including a harsher, a clearer understanding of these laws in school, perhaps? Maybe in high school, boys need to be taught that, hey, you know what, this is a crime, you could go to jail, it could ruin the rest of your life. It's not just fun that you can have when you're hanging out with your friends. What do you think the solutions are that we can actually offer the government, that we can actually expect governments to put in place?
I think, Yogita, you hit a lot of nerves, and I resonate with a lot of what she says, if not everything. To start off with, going back to what the Minister of Women and Child Development said, if you remember when we spoke about criminalization of marital rape, she said you can't have that in India because Indian women do not understand the concept of consent. So from the very beginning, in school, when you have history, geography, make comprehensive sex education mandatory. Teach kids the meaning of consent. Teach kids the importance on gaining consent, seeking consent. Teach kids how to engage with people of other gender. Till date, we are obsessed with what's happening in people's bedrooms. Like we don't accept that gender is fluid. So one, start off with teaching kids. You want to talk about sensitization? Let's start from the very beginning. And this is where the government does have a role. Second, the women's safety measures, the schemes that Anila spoke about, it would be lovely for the Nirbhaya scheme to actually be implemented, for money to actually be distributed among survivors. Third, women's safety helpline number doesn't work in most parts of India. 103, why can't we make sure that it works everywhere? Fourth, treatment for rape victims, for survivors. They are only directed to government hospitals. Private hospitals do not take in rape survivors. Survivors are treated horribly after assault. It is not okay for survivors to be re-victimized time and again. Fifth, coming back to the horrible remarks that politicians make, we need parties to grow a spine and come out and publicly reject. I don't even want an apology anymore from Abu Azmi, the Home Minister. I want their parties to hold them accountable. I want their parties to distance themselves from it. Make them lose the positions of power and authority that they're holding right now, which they have no business holding. Again, going back to the police, making sure that the police is accountable, registers every FIR, does not throw around reasons like it is out of jurisdiction, rape to nahi hua, this whole attitude of rape to nahi hua. Well, women are not safe. So at every step, we need higher accountability. And why are our ministers not finding even 1 minute of time to come out and comment on this issue? Goes to show you the apathy. We need to start treating women as a vote bank. We need more women in parliament. Women, I think the next election that's coming out, we need to release a whole dossier of remarks that men have made, where they stand on women issues, and then ask women to go out and vote based on that. Maybe only then the politicians will care or be scared enough to react.
In fact, let's put that on the screen right now. These are what your politicians are saying, ladies and gentlemen, on a regular basis, and these politicians are still active members of politics. What you're seeing on your screen right now, things like 90% of rape cases are consensual. These are the kind of comments that are made. Mulayam Singh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party. Boys will be boys. Boys will commit mistakes. Do you want to hang them for doing that? These are the kind of comments. Women wearing lipstick and powder are the same as terrorists. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi of the BJP. Rape cases are on the rise because men and women interact with each other. Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, and a woman herself. How can you call it gang rape when there are only 2 people? Gang rape can only happen when there are 4 or 5 people involved. KJ George, former Home Minister of Karnataka. These pretty women, dented and painted, who come out for protests are not students. Abhijit Mukherjee of the Indian National Congress. Just because India has achieved freedom at midnight does not mean that women can venture out after dark. That was said by another politician. These are the kind of things we're dealing with. Let's start first with this. Let's start first with the people who lead our country. Should they be allowed to make statements like this? Abbas Singh, there's a lot being said about what is in the purview of the central government, what belongs to the states, what we expect from the states. But every political party should be forced to eject these people unceremoniously out of their parties, to take away their tickets, take away their seats, take away their ministries, and make an example for them. And I think, unfortunately, as women, we don't vote based on what these people say about us. And we should take these things very personally.
Definitely, just like the Supreme Court said that if any MP, MLA is convicted of an offence with the punishment of minimum 2 years, he would be disqualified. The same way where Lalu Prasad Yadav lost his seat. I think on the same lines, there should be guidelines that whoever MLA, MP or a politician, if he talks about a woman in a derogatory manner, is offensive, using obscene words, then they should be disqualified from their seat. The Election Commission, which is having a very passive role, it can be the administrative authority for these politicians, because the police and the other agencies, they draw directions from the statements made by the Home Minister. Just because the Home Minister was casual towards molestation in Bengaluru, the Bengaluru police did not register any FIR till the time media came in and aggressively put up the video. So it is necessary that they be thrown out of their MLA MP seats, and till the time, just like Azam Khan in UP was made to apologize in the Supreme Court for treating Bulandshahr rape as a political conspiracy. How can a mother and daughter be raped on a highway and a politician says that it is a political conspiracy? I think on the same lines, Abu Azmi and the likes should be hauled up by the court, should be suspended, because their own political party would not take action. Mulayam Singh has not taken any action. Even Congress has not taken any action against Home Minister in Karnataka, because for them, it is only vote bank politics. For
Who will Mulayam Singh Yadav take action against if he's the one making the statement?
It is the Election Commission and the court.
Abbas Singh, who will Mulayam Singh Yadav take action against if he's the one making the statements about rape? Who do we expect here to step up and speak on behalf of women?
Exactly,
this is the kind of thing we are going to hear from them. And you know, I'm going to bring in Anila Singh. Anila Singh, there are several people in the BJP who have made statements who have not been...
That is why I think Abu Azmi is talking like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who have not, there's no action been taken against BJP so-called leaders who've made statements about women. Why is that, Anila Singh?
No, majorly our party takes action on such people. But if I talk as a woman right now on your panel, whoever, whether they are politicians or anybody in any organization who says the things which are absolutely not up to the mark, I think they should not be in the system, whether it is a political system, judicial system, administrative system, or anywhere, any part of the society.
Taken against Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi of the BJP.
They all are public representatives.
Anila Singh, what action has been taken against Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi of the BJP?
I am talking about all the politicians.
No, I'm asking you this specific
I am
case.
talking about all the politicians. Ma'am, let me complete.
No, you talk about your party.
Any
Please tell about the
politician.
BJP.
When political parties in our country, if they pass
any
lewd
since you
remarks
represent
on
the
women,
BJP, at least tell about the
I'm giving you a specific case, ma'am.
They are public representatives, and one public representative, he represents lakhs of people. So somehow even I totally agree. Any political party, say BJP, Congress, TMC, XYZ, any political party, any politician who is a public representative, if he passes such lewd remarks, that has to be checked.
Okay.
This matter is very seriously. But the thing is,
Anila, please tell me what position Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi holds in the BJP today. Please tell me what position does he hold in the BJP, this one particular gentleman. What is his current position?
Absolutely, even I know he is minister.
He is minister?
Ma'am, would you
Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs.
Yes, and just now I said that whether it is BJP or Congress, any political party,
would you just take our request? We are half of the population of our country. Would you take our request and take some firm actions, and you can talk to your leaders and take some action on Mr. Naqvi? Would you do that much? Can you commit that to us?
See, I am just I cannot commit anything. Very frankly, I am just a spokesperson. I can tell you about the ideology of the party. But as a woman, definitely I have said that I do not appreciate anyone, any political
don't either,
party,
Anila
any
Singh,
organization
but we are not members of the ruling party of this country. We're hoping that our government...
That why women are being raped, that is absolutely not correct.
I'll tell you why women are being raped, Anila Singh, because members of parliament who are ministers, current sitting ministers, are allowed to say things like women who wear lipstick and powder are worse than terrorists or are the same as terrorists.
Yes.
And if we allow them to get away with saying things like this, we then embolden everybody across the country to treat women badly, to get away with it, and to believe that they will never be brought to the book. We currently live in a country where the people who raped and murdered Nirbhaya are still not fully convicted, and we have not seen justice. Yogita.
I just wanted to make another comment that they say such things that women are sugar and men are ants, and if they come together, there will be a reaction. I mean, nobody can imagine being in Indian politics. They can make such remarks. I mean, it's a shame worldwide for us to stay in this country. I mean, represent half the population. I mean, what can we expect from this country? Whether we'll grow in future or not? No, definitely not. This is a very severe situation. First, we need to deal with it. I would urge that special session should be called in Parliament on women's safety, declared as emergency situation right now. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. We are on the back foot. Women safety is no emergency for them. It's just another issue, I mean, which can be dealt later on. I have heard Prime Minister, he has never spoken openly about women's safety. He talks about development, he talks about other issues, but women's safety, he is not very vocal about. So why not we do something right now, call special session in Parliament and discuss, deliberate on
I
the
don't
issue.
agree here. I don't agree here.
Why don't you agree, Anila?
I'm sorry.
No.
Why don't you agree, Anila?
He is very much concerned about the women's safety. No, I cannot, because this is not correct.
He was
this is
concerned about
absolutely not
economic
correct.
demonetization happening.
I do not want to participate here as a... See, you can see his history. When he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, women are very safe there. He took measures and women are very safe there. So you cannot
We are
say that
waiting
he
for the
is
same
not
measures
concerned
here.
about the women's safety and security, or he doesn't think so. He is the one who started. Can I complete? He is the one who started the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. He is the one who initiated that maximum toilet should be made. Our girls or the women who live in rural areas, they should not go in fields and all. So like he has taken many initiatives, so you can't blame him.
Swachh Bharat can wait. Other things
Swachh
can
Bharat
wait.
will do, ma'am. I'll tell
No,
you, in
it can
rural
wait.
areas, maximum rapes are coming.
Okay, let me just put out some statistics. Let me just put out some statistics. Let me just put out some statistics, and I'll take this question. I'll take this question to Abha Singh. But Anila Singh, just for your benefit, in 2014, according to the NGO Save the Children, 63% of the girls in Gujarat had reported sexual abuse in the country. Had reported sexual abuse, which is the highest in the country. So just to set that statistic right, that's according to, and I'm quoting an NGO called Save the Children. This is 2014, that data was. And I will bring in Abha Singh. Abha Singh, do you believe it's an emergency-like situation? Do you believe that the government, the central government, needs to now take stock of the fact, and I'm not mincing words here, the law and order has fallen apart. It's a complete breakdown of law and order in our country.
Definitely, there is crime against women and girls all over. In fact, in a case, in a rape case in Mathura, where the victim was going to the court for deposition, she was murdered outside the court. In states like UP, the witnesses are killed with impunity. And on the roads, we are seeing, be it Delhi, Bengaluru, anywhere, there is molestation, rape. And not only that, conviction is barely 20 to 30%. Since such a sad state of affairs, I definitely think that the government must think seriously on this and take drastic measures to bring in safety, security. There were no mobile vans. After Nirbhaya, they had said that mobile vans will be posted on the roads, but neither Bengaluru nor Delhi had any mobile vans. Delhi was worse, that when the cops came to protect the girl in Mukherjee Nagar, they themselves were beaten up. This shows fear of law is also not there. Cops, even the uniform has lost its sheen. So definitely it is an emergency-like situation, at least where the security and safety of the women and girls is concerned. I think the parliament needs to have an emergency session, work out things and ensure that our girls and children are safe.
Well, Trisha Shetty, you spend a lot of time dealing with what's happening on the ground. We've looked at the numbers. The numbers are not getting any better. Do you believe it's an emergency-like situation? Have things on the ground actually gotten worse? And I'm talking about, you brought this up, the manner in which the police are dealing with victims, the manner in which the hospitals are dealing with victims, the manner in which the entire law and order enforcement system deals with crime against women.
Most definitely. In fact, like I told you before, I think the police are more empathetic than the hospital staff, the administration and hospital staff. The way they treat survivors of rape, it is absolutely horrifying. You have stray dogs enter the wings, the kind of questioning. 4- and 5-year-old rape survivors are not treated with the respect that they deserve. Also coming back to, I think, an overarching problem, if you saw the press conference that Mr. Praveen Sood gave today, there were a lot of journalists asking him, wait, was the victim partying? What was she doing? And he's like, no, she was not partying. She went to church. They're like, are you sure she went to church? She was not at a party. I mean, what kind of obnoxious questions are these? How does it matter what she was doing just before she got assaulted? So, we have to address this in a bunch of fashion. One, that you cannot. I think right now we need to completely reject this horrible line of questioning that victims are being put through and understand that on ground it is horrible. We keep asking survivors to come forth and report. But to what end? For them to be re-victimized at the police station, at the hospital, by politicians, by the public. When you on social media, it's such a hostile environment, you have men turn around and say, not all men. How is a woman supposed to breathe in this country, report crimes of sexual abuse, if at no level can she find support? And then you have politicians pass the buck. BJP did this, Congress did this. 4 years ago it was this bad, 2 years ago it's horrible. No one takes this issue seriously.
Nobody takes this issue seriously. Yogita?
They blame it to the dressing sense. I heard some comments of some politicians. He was saying they were wearing Western dresses. I just wanted to ask this gentleman, do you wear dhoti kurta and go to parliament or go to your office? No. You also wear western clothes. So what are the western clothes? I don't understand. When you think sari is traditional and skirt is western, then you should also boycott all the western clothing. Why you have double standards? Why you are so hypocrite about things, So first of all, these bunch of jokers should be taken on task. They should not only be thrown out of their parties, they should be charged or praising women's modesty by the courts, by the activists. I think they should be taken to task, first of all. If they are setting such examples, I mean, we don't have any hope. I'm sorry. I've been working with rape survivors. Every time you call me here or every time we switch on the TV, we read the newspaper, I become totally hopeless. I mean, we will keep coming here, we'll keep debating, nothing will change in this country. I mean, where are we standing right now? Where are we heading towards? We need to change it, and it has to be done by the administration also, definitely people also. So, I mean, something like they should do some kind of like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan they had done, put so many hoardings, they had spent so much of money on publications, on TV advertisements. Why can't they do something on women's safety? Why can't they spend 10,000 crore on women's safety? And I assure you it will bring a lot of changes. Why can't they take it as an important issue? Why they just deny it, that it is not an important issue, but it has become just like a media hype. They should understand the severity of this issue and take it very, very seriously on a campaign mode. Like they do election campaigns, they raise funds, they spend a lot of money on election campaigns. Let's do on women's safety. Take it seriously. You have also daughters. All the politicians, I urge, all the parties, irrespective of state, center, please do something. Otherwise, we'll keep debating for years and years and nothing will change in this country.
Nothing will change in this country. And I echo Yogita's sentiment, because this is what I felt this morning when we heard about the case from Delhi, when we heard about one more molestation, one more crime against women. We're losing the will to fight as women. To the women of Bangalore, I want to remind you that there is a peaceful walk that will take place tomorrow to bring the government's attention to what happened on the 31st and to bring more conclusive action from the government. Sultan is on the phone line from Mumbai. But before we go to him, Yogita, when you're talking about spending money, I want to remind our audience that there is 3,000 crore rupees in the Nirbhaya fund. There is 1,000 crore rupees that is added to the Nirbhaya fund year on year. This money is meant to be used by the Women and Child Empowerment Ministry to fight crime against women. This money has not been used. There is a parliamentary committee that has written a report saying the money has not been used. The ministry has not done enough. The ministry has taken very, very few steps, even in Delhi or anywhere else in the country, to stop crime against women. So it's not even a question of not having money. There is money in the name of a girl we lost 4 years ago. That money is not being used. And I think there can't be a greater tragedy than the Nirbhaya fund right now in this country. Sultan is on the phone line. Sultan, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to make a point that, and I endorse what Yogita just said across. If you take the instance of Chitalia yesterday, she clearly was covered in a shawl, and there was absolutely nothing of hers which was revealed, yet she was attacked, groped, and all kinds of stuff was done by this molester who's a frustrated person. So the idea of these fringe elements coming and talking about the dress code and all is ruled out. Of course, we have even, infants and as 3 years old and 4 year olds getting raped. What I'm only trying to say is the person who is molesting the girls or the women, they surely know that as of today, even if they get caught, they will be out on the bail the next day. The confidence which the people have in the police is not there anymore. I remember we had a police commissioner, Julio Ribeiro, in the 80s. His line was, the biggest gunda on the streets is the police. At that time, the citizens had a lot of confidence in the police. They could go to the police station and file a report. Like Chitalia said yesterday that, I tried to go, but I was not very sure whether the policeman would take her complaint or not. So what I'm trying to only suggest is, there has to be a nationwide campaign as Yogita has already mentioned. Anila keeps talking about on the surface, like, let's help for women's safety. They can spend 3,600 crores on a Shivaji statue. Why can't they spend 3,600 crores on a fund which protects women and children? This is a message that Modi has to understand. I mean, he can cut off his international jaunts and actually spend a lot of time on the women's safety.
All right.
So
right. Let's take that question to Anila. Anila, there is money. The money has been made available. There is 3,000 crore rupees in the Nirbhaya fund that is not being used. Can we not use it? It's a very simple question. Why isn't it being used? Can we not use it to just fight more for women's safety?
It should have been used. I will not argue on this thing. No, I will absolutely not argue on this thing because this is the fact. The Nirbhaya fund has not been used fully. It should have been used. So I am not going to shy away from this fact. And number two, just now, like I was listening other panelists and the person who's just called, that the reason behind the molestation or the assault are not the dresses or the lipstick or the hairstyle. What I personally think is the reason behind is lawlessness. Administration, police administration and the judiciary, they are not doing their work properly. If police administration was doing its work properly, then the episode which happened in Delhi, it wouldn't have been there. And secondly, the judiciary system, if they were disposing the case in a very quick manner by using the fast track courts or whatever, cases for all the cases, whether they are crime against women or any type of cases where women are involved, I think the scenario will be very, very different. So somehow I feel that the law implementation
where is the government's role in all of this?
Lagging behind. That is one of the
Where is the government's role? Where is the chief minister? Where is the home minister? Where is the prime minister's role in all of this? Safety, security comes under all of their portfolio. It's just been divvied up into police and judiciary. Where is the government's role in all of this?
It is. I am not.
Push it through to your government that we need infrastructure.
And it comes under their portfolio. It's not like they're doing any favors.
Administration and the judicial system. If all the three things. If all the three
the political system needs to hold judiciary and the police accountable
in such cases.
No, let's actually bring out like very, very clear points. Abha Singh, the punishment for sexual assault and molestation in India is less than 2 years in jail and a small fine. It is a bailable offence, which means that even if the police nab the person, he can be out in bail in less than an hour. Is that true?
Yes, of course, in most of the cases, the sections are so intelligently put by police that the lightest charges are slapped and they are out on bail immediately. It is necessary that the strong charges are put, like offences which are cognizable, because in one place, 354A, which was added after Criminal Law Amendment Act, that is cognizable with around 3 years of imprisonment. So till the time police doesn't put in cognizable offences, only they are non-bailable. Otherwise, if they put a bailable offence, and definitely quite a few of these things like stalking and all is 6 months, 4 months imprisonment, and hence 500 rupees fine. So definitely it is very less. And not only that, quite a few of these molestation charges and all, they are compoundable. Compoundable means that you can have a out of court settlement. I think in these cases it should not be compoundable. Once an offence is registered, it should be taken to the logical conclusion, because there is out of court settlement. There is a pressure.
I was saying, next question, these changes that you're suggesting,
statements or offer them money.
These changes that you're suggesting, is it the purview of the national central government or each state to make these changes in the law?
These changes are to be made by the parliament. It is the central government and it is the BJP which is sitting there. So I think when Narendra Modi talks of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, he must first bring changes in the law to make the women more safe in this country.
So they should, all the more reason to call up, really, I'm urging from your channel that they should call a special session in the parliament and do deliberate on these issues, which are very, very important, and we are there to give our inputs because we are working in the field. Madam can also give our inputs. We all can just be there and just give a devote our lives from this, but they should do something on this.
You know, I want to also on the screen, and I'm going to ask Abha Singh one more question. This is a question to the other two activists as well. On the screen, I'm going to run the photographs of the young men who've been nabbed in Bangalore, accused of the molestation that you saw on your screen yesterday. I want you to look at these people. And if you see them in your neighborhood, if you see them attempting to get a job, if you see them attempting to rent a home, if you see them attempting to do anything at all, you should throw them out immediately. Society should ostracize these people. They should not be allowed to be part of normal society. They should not be able to find girlfriends or wives or friends or anything else at all. And that is the punishment that will then deter people from ever getting caught, from ever going out and doing things like this. Now, Abha Singh, we live in a world where the government has boasted about the fact that through demonetization, it can digitize all cash transactions, that it has databases of every rupee that's moving everywhere. Can we also not then live in a world where there is a public database of people like this, with their photographs, with their names, with their addresses, with their mobile numbers, with their PAN cards, with their Aadhaar numbers, all of these wonderful details that will prevent them from ever being part of active society ever again?
Of course, we can have a website where all these molesters, rapists, their pictures are there, their details are there. The time has come for naming and shaming these criminals, because only then the families would get involved. The mothers would monitor their sons that they are not going out molesting girls. So it's high time their identities are revealed, because till now, if you see, if any convict is taken to a jail or somewhere, his face is covered because you need it at the time of trial for victim identification. But I think once it is done, then it is necessary that the naming and shaming is done. There is a data card, there is a website on which you can find out who are the main molesters, victims in which areas, so that the girls going to that areas also know that such type of people operate in these areas and they can be careful. Definitely yours is a brilliant solution, brilliant suggestion. I think we must take it up. In fact, there is a rally in Bengaluru, as you say. Tomorrow the rally itself should say that the time has come that we name and shame these molesters.
Well, Trisha Shetty,
this is a greater reason why, because they are always repeated offenders. One
Yes.
is Caesar, if he gets away, he will do it again, and
he will do it again and again. Right. Trisha Shetty, you brought up hospitals. What is the solution for hospitals? How can we solve that problem of the fact that, A, you said private hospitals don't even accept victims. They don't even let them in. And public hospitals treat them extremely badly. What is the solution that we can ask the government for to fix that problem?
See, the provision of law, section 357C says, mandates that, it's compulsory treatment for victims regardless of private hospital, government hospital, private clinic, wherever. But you see it not being implemented. So step by step, first step would be the chief minister stepping in, the state stepping in and putting pressure on their private hospitals, training the hospital staff, because if you walk in there and say you've come with a rape survivor, they don't even know how to handle the case. So training them on how to handle cases of rape, how to get the rape kit done, the whole protocol and procedure. Second step is communicating with the police stations and letting them know that they can direct survivors to private hospitals and not just government hospitals. Third, government hospitals, the way they treat survivors, it is not okay. I think, when you have signs in hospitals about mosquito prevention, this prevention, that prevention, you also need to have signs that clearly state the rights of rape survivors in the hospital, so then they can see it, and then you don't have misdirection and then people, completely not giving them the help that they need. So putting out messages on social media, on TV, making sure that private hospitals take in rape survivors, telling police officials that they can direct them to private hospitals, insisting that government hospitals adhere to protocol and do not harass survivors.
What is the punishment actually, Trisha, for a government hospital that doesn't adhere to protocol? There isn't.
There's a 2-year fine.
Does anybody actually make that complaint?
No, survivors get directed to the government or private hospital. The worst part is if you speak to...
I have a personal case.
No.
I have dealt with a recent case where the survivor was raped by 5 men and she was shot dead. And she was treated in a private hospital, and I had to arrange the bill money. I mean, they were not aware about this. Then
you don't know the law. Can I come in?
Yes, Abha, go ahead.
Sure.
In fact, after the Nirbhaya case, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, a new section under the IPC 166B has been added, whereby it is compulsory for private hospitals to take in rape victims. In fact, that was the reason that in Mumbai, the Shakti Mill gang rape victim was taken in by the private hospital. Jaslok Hospital immediately admitted her. So we must know through your channel, we can tell that it is compulsory for a hospital.
It is compulsory.
If it doesn't take, then there is a punishment of 2 years imprisonment. So 166B is the section by which every hospital has to accept a victim of rape and sexual assault. So I think that that issue is there. Only thing is we don't know. Since we don't know, we are not confident to go to private hospitals.
We know it, ma'am. We try to explain them, but they don't know. So I think that they should also be called in a place.
Absolutely. I have someone on the phone line. K. Madhav Rao is on the phone line right now. Mr. Rao, go ahead. We're listening.
I just have 2-3 questions, 2-3 points to share. I'm just in today's program, while Yogita, Trisha and Abha Singh have been right on the bullet points, there's one lady from the BJP, I don't know her name.
That's Anila, yes.
She's
Anila Singh.
Alice Mandala, and we are not in an ideal situation. We are worse than that situation. Point number one. So let's come down to the ground and understand what is going on. There was this caller from Sultan. He spoke very correctly. I share a similar opinion like him. My last point is at the hospital, whenever such instances are reported, let the questioning be done only by the female cops, not by the male cops. For God's sake, let that be made mandatory across all hospitals.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling. And of course, as parents who have young children at home, whether girls or boys, the thing that you can do tonight is to call your children out and teach them about consent. Teach your daughters that they are allowed to say no and that no means no. And teach your sons that when a girl says no, it's no. So if we start that way, maybe they'll go out and tell their friends what they learned from their parents today. Anila Singh, I want to come back to the fact that you said that law and order is a state subject, but the Delhi police, under the LG, reports to the central government and to the Home Ministry. We can make a start in Delhi. The BJP government, the centre, which you have pointed out, is extremely concerned about the safety of women, can make a start in Delhi and set an example in Delhi and the Union Territories for the rest of the states to follow.
I really hope so, because whenever there is a matter or a case against a woman or a girl, it is a matter of concern. I, as a spokesperson, BJP spokesperson, also want to tell everybody through your channel that of course Delhi government and the central government, they both are going to take some very strong steps from the point of view of women's security, and every state should do that, not only Delhi, but Delhi, since it is the capital of the country, it can always
What steps will the government take? You said the government will take strong steps. What steps will the government take?
Right now, I cannot tell. I am not the right authority or the person to tell that. But I can assure you that whatever has happened in Delhi lately on the eve of 31st, that is horrific. Like people are attacking police personnel now. This shows that their courage. Apathy of political party in the center about what, ma'am?
You say you don't even have a roadmap how you are going to control the increase in crime against women. You don't know the facts.
See, I just told you. I just told
you the facts. You don't have the roadmap.
The roadmap, I can't tell you here about the roadmap.
If you are the speaker of the party, you must know.
See, I am sitting.
Why can't you tell you? You should tell us.
Debate. I am not. Listen,
you can only tell us what is your government going to do to.
I can't tell you right now.
If you are coming,
I do not have the roadmap in front of me. I can't commit anything or I can't say anything about which I do not have any knowledge. Ma'am, if you are going to provoke me, and if you want to provoke me, you can. But if you think that I am going to comment or I am going to say anything about which I do not have right knowledge, I am not going to say. I am not going to say about it, but I can only
why
say
you
that
don't
the
have the
central
right knowledge.
government
Then
and
please
the
don't
state
be a
government,
spokesperson.
definitely both
If
the
you don't
governments
have the
to
right
work together
knowledge,
for the
if I'm a
security of
lawyer,
the
I
women
should know
in
the
Delhi.
sections.
And they will be doing it.
Not both the governments, your government.
And you can
the central
and you should
government has to
appreciate,
call a thing.
Mrs. Singh,
Your
you should
BJP
appreciate
government
that
has
the police
to call
was
a
there.
parliament session.
Somebody had
you
called
have
the
to
police,
tell us,
EVR,
you have
and
to
the
tell
police
us
was
why
there.
Nirbhaya
This is
Fund has not been
unfortunate
used.
that the people
Why
had
Nirbhaya Fund
planted
has not
stones
been
on
used?
them. You
No,
cannot say
you
that
have to
police
tell
was
us
not
this.
there.
You
Mrs. Abbasi, you
please
should
go
listen
and
to
ask
me.
your
You
party
cannot
why
blame the
Nirbhaya
police
Fund.
system of the
Why
Delhi
Nirbhaya
state
Fund is
because
not being
police
used.
was there.
No, you
but
have
you
to
can
tell
always
us
ask
why
Mr. Kejriwal
why
from
hang on.
before election.
Anila Singh, Anila Singh, the police may have been there, but they weren't.
With the constables,
Anila Singh,
There was a case of molestation filed, there was a case of assault against civil servants filed.
Anila Singh, the police may have been there, but they achieved precious little. The police may have been there, but they were not able to do their job. 1 minute. Anila Singh, 1 second. 1 second. Anila Singh, 1 second.
You should appreciate them as well.
Anila Singh, the points that Abha Singh is making, the point that Trisha Shetty is making is that the Delhi police reports to the Home Ministry, and the truth is that there is absolutely close to zero safety for women in Delhi. Any of us from any city who travels to Delhi is repeatedly told by everybody that Delhi is extremely unsafe. We have enough cases that prove to us that Delhi is unsafe. And to make matters worse, now on camera, we have proof that when the Delhi police actually attempts to do something, that perpetrators pelt stones at them, which means that the people who are committing these crimes have absolutely no regard whatsoever for the police. There is no fear for the police. They don't take the police seriously. And
because
this is,
they don't deserve respect.
this is
Because
something that has obviously happened over a period of time.
Arrogance.
This does not happen overnight. Young men don't get up one night and say, let's throw stones at the police. This is a situation that has deteriorated over several years. The government has done precious little.
This is what I was saying, that here the role of judiciary comes.
No, it doesn't, ma'am. This is the role of the government.
Taken to the jail.
But why did the police not flag this incident and file a complaint the next
role of the
day?
judiciary. How is this the role of the judiciary? I don't understand what you're saying. How is this the role of the judiciary? Anila Singh, this is not a role of the judiciary. This is a role of the government.
On the roads of the capital, you have bikers, 200 bikers coming on the roads of Delhi. Is there no law? In fact, it is shocking when we are told that there are bikers on the road, 200 bikers come on the road and people are scared even venturing out. That means Delhi police is totally inefficient, incompetent, and since no action is taken against Delhi police by the central government, that is why women are unsafe in Delhi.
Okay, Yogita, I have a very quick question for Yogita. Yogita, 1 second.
I absolutely not agree with Mrs. Abha Singh what she is saying about the Delhi police or any of the police in the country. So all the police is not the same, all the police persons are not the same. Again, I am going to repeat my words in a very strong manner. Whenever police is doing its work properly, you should appreciate it. And here I will, since you are...
Okay, I have to wrap up this conversation. But I have a very quick question for Yogita. Yogita, 1 second, ma'am. 1 second, Anila. 1 second. Yogita, if the Nirbhaya Fund...
use the Nirbhaya Fund or not?
If the Nirbhaya Fund was used,
will it use the Nirbhaya
yes,
Fund
absolutely.
Or not?
If the fund on some level was used to plaster, 1 second, ladies, it is not happening. Anila Singh, the Nirbhaya Fund has not been used.
I agree to it.
You are the funds have not been used properly. You have a designation in the party BJP.
Okay, Yogita, I have a very quick question.
I'm agreeing to it. No, I am not shying away from it.
All right, I've run out of time. I have to close this discussion. The things that have come out, the very useful suggestions that were made by our panelists, very, very learned panelists who spent a lot of time working in the area of women and safety for women. Here are the suggestions. When it comes to molestation, when it comes to sexual assault, these crimes should not be bailable. They should not be allowed to settle these crimes out of court. The laws for these crimes, against these crimes, need to be stricter, and that is the job for the central government in Parliament. That is number one. Number two, a database needs to be created of all those convicted of these crimes so that people around them know who they are. This is again a job that can be done by the central government that is flexing its arms in the area of digitization. It needs to show that it can put the amount of heart it has in digitization, it can put that heart towards the women of this country. The central government needs to come out and show us that it cares about us as a vote bank. and as a population. Sexual education needs to be made compulsory in all of our schools. We have to teach girls that they are allowed to say no, and no means no. We have to teach boys that if they disrespect no, that is a crime that can send you to jail and ruin your life for a very, very long time. The Delhi government needs to do more, and the Delhi police needs to do more. Finally, all political parties, and we are making this very, very clear, all political parties need to eject unceremoniously the people who say disrespectful things about women, because in the next election, that is how we will vote. We will go onto the internet as women, we will look for politicians who've said disrespectful things about us, and we will not vote for those parties. That's an ultimatum coming from half of this country. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.